Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Energy Web Token, aka EWT. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So, Energy Web Token. This thing is surprising me day in and day out. I was really kind of watching the market, and I was like, all right, well, we're going to see a lot of the tokens that did have, a nice pump in the last, couple days or so, more so going back here to like the 11th, come down and test some nice lows. I mean, we did come down to test about like almost $3. Seems like we kind of built a floor there, and now we are breaking out a little bit again. But we have been watching this thing. We've been talking about this thing for a while, and the funny thing is that like at $4.20, like this thing is extremely still undervalued. Like go back on the year chart and look at this. But again, we still are in a bear market. There's no reason to chase, pumps, especially, 33% up. I hope that everybody was buying during this entire time that we were kind of talking about Energy Web Token. We were still discussing it, really kind of discussing why it is going to be a major giant. The funny thing is that there's a reason why it is the #1 token in the energy sector. And a lot of people still look at like, power, right? They look at like Power Ledger and they think like power is going to, overcome EWT and beat it. But it's just not the case. Not the case at all. In fact, I would argue that, power is nowhere even close to Energy Web Token's, potential. But do I think that power is going to also do pretty good? It might. I'm not going to write it off. I think that it is still a pretty good token, but we didn't see a major move during the recent run. So again, to me, Energy Web Token just seems like a more viable choice. The upside on this thing is pretty special too. I mean, it hit about like 20 some dollars, 22 I believe is the all-time high on CMC. So we still have a long ways to go. But I do think that this could possibly pull a Q&T like run and run to, $100, maybe even 200, 300, 400. It would be substantial to see, and I'm very excited to see where this thing does lead to. It is a utility gem, and it is a very special gem, and let's talk about why. So, from the CEO of Energy Web himself, we do see our team is bringing a new blockchain to life with, or that will unlock secure enterprise-grade management of self-sovereign identities. Check out this piece to learn how Energy Web Token will provide a cybersecurity backbone. And we do see down here, read everything about how staking Energy Web Token increases cybersecurity for energy grids and enterprises in an in-depth article here. Now, I don't really need to break this down. I'm sure that a lot of everyone out there that does know about staking understands how this does increase the cybersecurity and stuff like that. But more so, I'm focused on what they are increasing the security of, which is energy grids and enterprises, which I personally think that this is awesome. Now, when we really kind of look at Energy Web and we really kind of look at what they are doing at the fundamental source, they are really kind of revolutionizing the entire energy sector. They are bringing us into the energy transition. Similar to everything else that we are talking about on a day-to-day basis, this is disrupting a market at its core that is a substantial market and a major focus point from not only the enterprise-grade sector, but even the government sector itself too, which with that comes a ton of money. Now, also, we have been watching some of the major partnerships that they do have, like Accenture, as well as like even Shell. We do see interesting article. Blockchain tech could send demand for sustainable aviation fuel soaring, deployed by Shell and Accenture on the Energy Web X stack. And we do see it over here. This is just a 4-minute read. This got posted about 5 days ago. Blockchain tech could send demand for sustainable aviation fuel soaring. One of the world's first blockchain-powered digital sustainable aviation fuel SAF solutions for business travel has been launched following a collaboration between 3 major corporations. And we do see them down here. Shell, Accenture, and even American Express Global Business Travel. All 3 of these are actually working with Energy Web on a few things. And we actually do see down here Energy Web Foundation being mentioned. We will discuss that in a second. But we do see that the amount is enough to power almost 15,000 individual business traveler flights from London to New York. Air commuters can use the book and claim facility to pay for SAF and claim the benefits, even if the sustainable fuel is not available at their departure airport, as it will, be fed into another aircraft in an airport where available. And this is great for ESG and stuff like that, if you are into that kind of area. But it's also great because guess what? We are still ushering into a sustainable, carbon negative, if you will, sort of society. So this does come in clutch for that. And I do think that it is a big area for Energy Web to really kind of focus on as well. And we do see Shell Accenture developed Avelia or Avelia. I hope that I'm saying that right either way. You guys can tell me down in the comments and butcher me if I'm saying it wrong. In conjunction with Energy Web Foundation, EWF, and the program includes Amex GBT's travel management services to aggregate global business demand for SAF. It is expected to increase SAF supply and use to help accelerate the aviation industry's journey towards net zero emissions. And we actually do see that on here. However, it's currently scarce and costs more than conventional jet fuel. Avelia will help trigger demand for SAF at scale, providing confidence to suppliers like us to further increase investment in production and turn helping to lower the price point for these fuels. So right now, this is very costly. We need a lot more, scale for this and demand. And what better way to get that demand from companies like Accenture, Shell, etc., that are major leaders behind a lot of these major sectors. We actually did talk about like Accenture. Accenture is a major giant within the space. I don't know if they actually break down Accenture, so no, they don't down here. But we've talked about Accenture in the past, and we do see the ambition to abate to 45% of Shell's corporate travel emissions through SAF by 2030. So this is a very large area to focus on. And again, direct, connection to Energy Web itself. This is why I say pay attention to what Energy Web is doing, especially as this market, is kind of focusing on the green area. For the longest time, what has been the biggest argument point behind mining Bitcoin or even Ethereum? It's always been energy use. It's always been like that, environmental impact. And this is a token that is not only ushering us into a green society around crypto, but also fully disrupting major areas within the sustainability, sort of area. And also, talking about the bi-weekly announcement from Energy Web, this just got posted about 6 days ago. But we do see, in case you missed our announcements in the last 2 weeks, here is a bi-weekly recap of them. Check it out to make sure you stay up to date. Sorry, I did not mean to click that. We do see the bi-weekly recap. They do bring up the BlackRock news. Obviously, that was a big one that really kind of started to pump the prices. And then we do see, event Vodafone presents how Energy Web technology is transforming the automotive industry. Yes, we are. Update, the Energy Web community released insights on the consortia relay staking mechanism. News, Energy Web's newsletter for August is now online. News, again, Huobi Research mentioned Energy Web in the Bet on Infrastructures to Accelerate Web3 article. Remember, right? When we talk about some of these tokens and we see what's happening within the news, what they are doing, what they are pushing, what they are discussing around, like, their next major, ecosystem update and stuff, this is what we want to see. We want to see, specific projects that are extremely active during downtrends with this market, because not only does that give buyer confidence, but it also shares with you guys the team's focus point. And I actually talked on Twitter. I said, I'm an absolute nerd, aka Encrypt30 for Energy Web Token. The tech stack behind it, their end goal and mission behind crypto is revolutionary. Everyone wants to mention how the XRP ledger is extremely sustainable. How do you think it's achieved? That's right, Energy Web Token. Now, what am I talking about in regards to the tech stack? Well, we go and look at their technology layers here, and this is what we are really kind of focused on with Energy Web itself. So we do see like DER management, and you guys can click this and see all of the projects just behind like a few of these applications. Here's all of those major ones. You also do see, e-mobility as well. You do see like the 3 ones broken down with, of course, like Elia, Volkswagen as well. See traceability, even DeFi itself as well. And down here we do see the infrastructure, and you guys can click this as well, and it does open up a whole bunch of information on a few things. And yes, you can click these and read more about it. They even do have the utility layer down here as well. Do I think that these are like huge? Not necessarily. The Energy Web name service, that could be pretty interesting if you do get like, a few that are like energy dot, EWT or something like that. Or, I don't know what the case on that is. I don't know if I even broke this down in the past, but so I don't know what the end of it would be, like .eth or like EWT. But I think that that could be interesting as well, and I think that that could be a driver of success behind something like this. But I didn't even know that they were actually jumping into the name service, area like that. But you love to see it. And also, we do see like the trust layer down here. You could, read everything around this. The tech stack is substantial, with a lot of these use cases being focused on everything that we have been talking about behind Energy Web, which is the disruption and transformation of the energy sector. For example, if you actually go and check out their homepage, it opens to this: we build operating systems for energy grids. Now, I love how simple it is to kind of just like say that, but it's a lot more than just that. So we do see what we do. And we do see like users, digitization, energy, decarbonization, assets, and decentralization all at the core, focus point. They already have over 100, participants, which we could discuss a little bit. But I already did this in a breakdown video on Energy Web in the past. But just for the sake of this video, we can kind of look at what they are doing with a few of these things. So the Australian Energy Market Operator. Now, this is to disrupt the entire electrical grid at its core. All of these are very transparent. You can actually read all about these on their website, and they actually do, a great, way, or they do a great job at disrupting, certain areas and talking about how they will disrupt it, the opportunity cost behind it. Like for an example, like new revenues from his battery and solar panels. It's under Project's Edge. Mark's assets can sell services to utilities who manage the grid. In exchange, he gets paid generating. And this is through generating energy. Right now, the solar, sort of area is kind of, I would say, limiting. There's real no major value being derived from that. So having something like this where you could democratize, energy and utility-based things like energy, that's a huge opportunity for anyone that wants to earn passive income, earn income just from, generating energy itself. So I think that this is awesome. And we do see down here, like through Mark's participation in Project Edge, he and other Australians with similar systems are helping to balance a rapidly decarbonizing grid in support of a clean energy future. And they do load, I don't know if this is, all right, so there we go. It kind of loaded it. Dana works for an electric distribution utility in Australia. And then we do see down here, it really kind of breaks down everything behind it. Now that these assets, customers, and aggregator companies have digital identities anchored on the Energy Web chain, we know where they are, what they can do, and can communicate with them so they can, rely on them to store or discharge energy to the grid as needed, as well as provide other grid services. Before we, were blind, and now we see, thanks to the traceability and transparency the Energy Web stack enables. And this is through seeing how things work, seeing charge bases behind things, more so kind of focused on the e-mobility market itself. Like they are disrupting core markets, and these are not markets that are small at all. Like when we really kind of look at the names behind Energy Web, they are substantial. We've talked about them, like Shell, for example. Like Shell is a huge name, and they are doing some huge things with Shell to not only usher us into a sustainable, environment, but also like a sustainable lifestyle by like 2030. But there's so many other major names on here that could also do the same, like EDF. EDF is a major name within the utility grade area, and these are like just like some of the names. You can see all of them on here, like GE. Everyone knows of GE. They are a household blue chip name. Hitachi as well. I mean, we are barely scratching the surface on where Energy Web is positioned. R3 Corda as well, major names. And there's so much more. Like this is probably one of the most substantial and overlooked gems in this space. YPro's on here, and there's a few like nonprofit and media partners as well. But we talk about a lot of projects on this channel, and Energy Web Token to this day is probably one of the most special ones. And it's not because I see a major upside potential on this asset, but it's because of how early we are in this market specifically. Like, there's only a few energy-based tokens in this space doing things like Energy Web Token. I would argue what they are focused on, what their mission statement is, and their goals, and what they have already achieved so far is a lot more than what most of the tokens in the space outside of the energy category have done. So with what they have been doing, with what they have done, I would argue that going forward, Energy Web Token is going to surprise a lot of people, and I think that it already has started to do so, with it not really caring about what this market does. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As it is up to you all, have a beautiful day, or a beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.